Welcome aboard, Sea of Friends, your weekly Sea of Thieves voyage. I'm Last Call for Lunch.
I'm Miss Lunch Lady.
And I'm Darkest Warhawk.
Today's episode, we're going to be talking about our initial thoughts on A Pirate's Life, Pirates of the Caribbean update. But before that, don't forget, audio versions of the show are uploaded every Friday. The video version, hopefully up on the weekend following. Maybe sometime later in the week, depending on how busy I am. Because editing the video stuff is more work than I was imagining.
We should also probably, I know you just said that we're going to talk about it, but spoilers, guys.
Yes. I was actually going to interject when you were about to start it and say, something to the effect of, hey, we're not going to go through everything detail by detail, but there are going to be spoilers. So if you're not through this first tall tale, or haven't played yet, just a warning.
If people are working to avoid hints and clues and the stuff that's happening in season 3, then they probably should not listen to this, because I know I haven't been watching streamers this week since I've only done the first tall tale.
Yeah, we've been going through boxy withdrawal.
Yeah, we're on serious boxy withdrawal right now.
But so if you haven't tuned in, if you haven't played the update yet, and you don't want anything spoiled for you, don't listen to this episode, but still hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast app. Whether it be Apple Podcasts or iHeartRadio, Podbean, Stitcher, Google Podcasts, soon Spotify.
Oh my goodness.
And hit that follow on YouTube. See it, These Podcasts.
We're everywhere.
Yeah. And then come back and listen to this episode to hear what we think.
And then let us know what you think.
Exactly. Way to go. Why did I say way to go? I'm sorry.
We got it. We summed it up, guys. So, what'd everybody think about that tall tale?
It was all right. No, it was great.
I'm trying to contain my excitement so I'm not yelling into the mic this week.
If you're excited and you want to yell, just yell, buddy.
It's fine. They can turn their volume down.
Oh my goodness. What a first tall tale.
It was pretty epic, man.
Story-wise and what you experience in it might be one of the best tall tales, in my opinion.
I agree.
Because I feel like a lot of the other tall tales, you're not really experiencing the story, you're reading the story. And I feel like that's kind of a different thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I think for a lot of people, with obviously them partnering up with Disney to make this a reality, everyone has in their mind either the movie, they have in their mind maybe the ride if they've been on it before, or a combination of the two. And I think that this first tall tale, especially with the music, the theme, what you go through, what you walk through, it really brings that nostalgia and everything all together. And it was just really, really well done.
And like you said, Anthony, you don't have to focus too much on the quest in your hand, which is kind of nice. You're not flipping in and out of the quest wheel to try to read things and clues. The game leads you. It does the legwork for you and just lets you enjoy the story.
And there are things to figure out, right?
Oh, for sure. It doesn't leave mystery behind by any means. There are things to figure out, but the characters and the dialogue is getting you there, not necessarily the quest book.
Yeah. And it's instead of, you turn the page in the quest book and you're now you're reading, you're like, what is this, a riddle? I gotta figure out where I'm going. This is kind of different, where it's you just come across a skeleton with a cup in his hand and it says this guy wants a recipe. And you're like, I think I should go find a recipe or something.
Yeah, I totally agree. It actually kind of made me chuckle a little bit, because if I look back at it, my family, my brother especially, is not into reading books at all. But he always waits for the movie to come out, even though the book might be amazing. And I thought that was funny with this tall tale, because they kind of explained obviously what you're going to kind of experience and what's happening. And then the book did a really good job of getting a little bit deeper in and explaining a little bit more from that perspective, from what Calypso said and what you're going to the island to actually do. So it's kind of a nice broad or a nice combination of the two to kind of go in and you read the book and got a little deeper while you're going in, but visually everything was right in front of you, and you could hear everything, like you said, Casey, to mark you down and push you forward throughout the quest.
And if you were watching for like the spectral elements, like they were leading you as well. Like, and then that's more visual.
Oh,
Yeah,
definitely.
I think overall, just a wonderful, wonderful job.
It also, visually, the whole thing didn't look like anything we've seen before. Like, if you've done the other Tall Tales and you've gone to the Shores of Gold, then, you know, that island also looks different than the rest of the islands in the Sea of Thieves. This island, I don't know that, what's the name of it? Sailor's Grave? Also visually looks different. I mean, it's obviously cohesive, but gives us like a new color palette to work from, and it's like moodier and spookier, and definitely inspired by the Pirates of the Caribbean.
Oh, for sure. I 100% agree with that. Like, it still had the Sea of Thieves theme to it and the visual kind of look, but I think they really did, draw out your curiosity on and use that to kind of against you in a way to kind of keep furthering the quest along. And I thought that was just really cool how they did that. My heart was kind of beating, the entire time. What's going to happen next? What's going to kind of come, especially later on in the quest, which we can kind of get to then. But yeah, just really piqued my curiosity every which way and turn. And if you turned around too, I noticed obviously, and I think Casey, you might have been the one on the ship that did it. But all of a sudden you turn around like, wait, that was a ghost. There was a ghost on our ship. And it was just like, wait, you look around, it's like, wait, I didn't see anything. What are you talking about? And then later on, so they like popped up again. So it was just the curiosity and just kind of kept you there at that note, waiting to see what was going to happen next.
And it's sort of divided into halves, right? Because if you think back to the beginning, we rolled up on the island and had to do the kind of obstacle course. And then the second half is more about the what am I looking for? Like the scavenger hunt or whatever of it all, So like it's neat because they have something that's going to appeal to anybody, like in the Tall Tale, whatever your kind of preferred game style is, you've got both. But neither of them were so difficult that it would put people off.
Oh, 100% too. And I would say, to kind of add on to that even more, it told the story really well, that you can kind of see visually what happened in the past. So it kind of caught you up to speed as you went through and what took place to get you to that second part and even a third part of the story. So I thought that was really cool. And how you said it too, Casey, is that it brought you along and then it made you kind of figure out, you kind of understood the story. And then the second part, you had to go and kind of figure out what was just given to you, kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And that was really fun about it.
I haven't, I've never been to Disney World, right? So I've never ridden the Pirates of the Caribbean ride. But that first journey into the area, is that like quite faithful, Casey, to what you experience in the ride, with the voices and the ghosts standing around talking, playing music, and the dead man tale no tales?
That is, I mean, I guess I'd have to look it up to know for sure, but I feel like they were pulling audio right out of the narration on the ride. Or maybe that voice actor, I would have a hard time believing that the voice actor who did the original ride is still alive. But maybe they've got somebody who's like faithfully recreating his voice. But the like journey you're on is not, the visuals of it are not, the ride is very much like through a town and then out onto the ocean. And now it's, translated a little bit into like the actual movie plot. But so the stuff that you're seeing isn't, but the sounds are, like the music is, the voiceover is, and then of course you get the visual literally of people on a little rowboat, which is like what you're riding when you're riding the ride. So I definitely feel like it was an homage to the ride for sure. And I'm excited to see where the ride pops up in the rest of the tales. Because obviously the movie is going to be represented in the rest of the tales, but what about the ride?
I know of I don't know what tale it is, but I know of one more ride thing in the tales.
Ooh, don't tell me.
I'm not going to tell you. I've already
Episode
ruined
soon,
something
then.
once for her. I don't want to do it again. I'm
No.
so sorry.
It's okay.
No, I agree. I don't think that it was like perfect match the ride, but to have those, cues that you're listening to really did make me think back to the ride as well. And I thought it was really cool throughout especially the beginning, you like watch the pirates go down the boat, and when you're walking around in the cave and the boat's kind of following along, that actually made me think of the ride itself, because that's when you're in the boat as you're walking, or not walking, but riding through the ride and seeing all this kind of happen. Now it's kind of almost flipped around, but it's still seeing and telling the story as it went. I just thought it was a really unique way of how they did it.
Yeah, it's really cool. They did a great job. I feel like there are other tall tales where you're kind of like, you'll get in it and you'll be excited, and then you just start dragging ass because it's like you're hung up on a clue and you can't figure it out, or there's too much to look around for, or it's so hard to find. And I really didn't feel that happening with this one. Like, I felt like they just genuinely wanted people to like experience this and not have to fight with it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I feel like there's nothing in your way to stop you from experiencing the story of at least the first Telltale, right? I think the only issue we were having was figuring out those final puzzles just to unlock the commendations.
Yeah, that was like extra from it.
Yeah, you could have completed that tall tale way quicker than us. Like, we just wanted to find every single thing that we could.
And I'm not gonna say what it is, just in case anyone listening hasn't experienced it yet. But the commendation, the secret of Sailor's Grave, that music was so good.
Yeah.
I could have hung out in that area all day long and just put on some sunglasses, grabbed a drink with a little umbrella, leaned back in my chair, turned down my lights really bright so I was like the sun, and just been on vacation in my room here, You can't see it, but my hands are behind my head right now, like I'm relaxing on a beach.
Yeah, no, it was good. And it was music that, I think the music of Sea of Thieves has always been impressive, but it's awesome to hear them expanding it and hear them putting in new styles of music and doing new stuff. It's like they don't take shortcuts. That Telltale would have been great without that music, but they added it in.
Yeah, and what I loved about the music, to me, I agree. I could just have that on a soundtrack as I'm going, and maybe it might make me more productive when I'm working because it gets intense at times. But I thought
they've released the individual track. They haven't released like a whole album, but if you go on Spotify or something and look up Sea of Thieves, they release like individual tracks periodically, and so you can kind of just build your own Sea of Thieves playlist.
I'll have to see for
or
the new
Apple
Tall
Music
Tales,
or whatever you listen to music on.
No, I'll have to take a look then for the Tall Tale one especially. But I really like the music because there again, and it was more. They had a lot of similar song that you're used to from the Pirates of the Caribbean and even the ride, but they meshed it. They changed it just a little bit to really add depth to what was happening in the tale at the time, and that's what I loved. It was eerie, but it was still comforting and classic as the Disney ride or the Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and that's what I found really appealing about it. It was funny. We talked before. We didn't want to ruin it by watching other streamers go for it, and I caught up with Boxy and Beardageddon stream, and only watched until they got through the first Tall Tale. And it was funny because we talk about the music and the styles, like. Beard was like, are they having Mongolian throat music like in Sea of Thieves right now? And they did. I mean, they had just a mix, because at that point it really added into the tale, and it was just something that you're not really used to. So I just think they did a great job with that all around.
Yeah.
So let's push forward and get to the bread and the butter, the cream of the crop. All right, the good stuff, that good voyage, which is an inside joke between me and Casey that no one understands.
That's true, but I got it. Should we tell the joke? Should we explain it?
So the kiddo at school, what was it, Mother's Day?
Mother's Day.
They had him fill out a sheet about his mom, and
Which is me.
yeah, and asked questions, and he would answer, and they'll write it down, and then sent it home with them. And we were reading it, and it was like, "What does your mom like to do?" She likes to do nothing. What makes your mom laugh? She doesn't laugh. What do you like to do? I like to cook with my mom because my mom likes to cook. Which, not really super accurate sometimes, right?
Yeah, no, he just told a bunch of lies.
Like, so, and
It's a
then
good
there's
pirate.
pasta, which she's not a big fan of. She'll eat it, but it's not like her favorite thing. And then it was like, what's your mom's favorite food? And his response was, that good pasta. So that's the inside joke of just
That good pasta.
that good pasta. So we say that from time to time around here about things like that good, that good TV. That good blanket. Give me that good blanket.
I would say it's funny that you said that mom never laughs, because if you haven't listened for the first 15 minutes of this, she's been giggling the whole time, which I love.
I love that he literally said nothing makes me laugh. And I'm like,
Right.
really, bro? Like,
Pretty sure everything does in a way.
I'm like, that's rude. That makes me sound like the most evil mother in the world that I literally don't laugh.
What does your mom like to do? Nothing. Does she laugh? No.
But I know my kid, and he gets very nervous when he gets put on the spot, and he'll answer a question like that, and then come back to me later and be like, "Hey, I thought about it, and I actually think that you like to sew or whatever." Anyway, way diverge from the point of this podcast. But so you want to get to that good voyage?
That good boy.
So what are you talking about?
Talking
The
about
end
the
of the
second
voyage.
half.
Oh, you want to talk
end.
about the end of it? Oh, yeah.
When you get on the ferryman's boat and you get downstairs. Sorry, I got a frog in my throat. It kind of rhymed, though, right?
The ferryman's boat and the frog in your throat.
And then you're going around the corners and you hear someone talking. And I know we are all excited. I heard it in our voices. I heard it in your voice, Bill.
Yeah.
I went back and watched that VOD. And then you turn the corner and there he is. Captain Jack Sparrow. How did we feel? How excited were you?
Dude, I was so excited because you know it's coming, right? It's coming around. He's coming around the corner, and the first thing I remember seeing is the actual hand outstretched with the bone, and he's just, like the classic Jack Sparrow trying to get the dog, and it was just, oh my God, this is happening. And there was a part of me that's like, this is the end. We're gonna meet him, and then that's gonna be like the tall tale and go on to the next one, but. It was just the beginning, realistically. There's so much left at the end of that was really exciting. But, yeah, my heart was thumping when we finally saw him.
You ran up and you were like, I got the keys!
It's true. I feel like it was subtle, but I liked it. Like, as you were going downstairs, there's barrels. So you're going to need that. Like, you can kind of mentally prepare, like, okay, we're clearly going to need cannons and food or these barrels wouldn't be here. So I liked that we were kind of set up for that. Because I had the same fear, right? That we would just, like, meet Jack Sparrow and scene. Like, then it's over. So I'm glad that you got to meet Jack Sparrow, but with the anticipation of, like, something else is coming.
And then we let him out, we talked to him, and then all of a sudden, the Flying Dutchman pops up out of the water next to you.
The most amazing thing I've ever seen in this game.
And then you have to fight the Flying Dutchman.
Well, it's typical just Sea of Thieves fashion, right? So you got your spectacle on Jack Sparrow, and he's talking and going through the dialogue at that point with the ferryman, and then you hear that shrill of the music, and that little chill goes up your spine, and you look over, and there it was. To your point, again, those gnarly teeth just pierce the sea, and it comes out of the water, and you're like, oh shit, what's about to happen? I mean, I thought the tall tale was going to be over or semi-concluding afterwards. It's like, nope, we're going into battle right now.
And you really did. You got to battle like with Jack on the ship, and it didn't feel like you couldn't win. Like it felt like again, people are set up to succeed, and it's just a brush like of an introduction to the new types of enemies that we'll get to fight.
Yeah, you have the 3 new types of enemies boarding the ship. So you're blasting cannons at the Flying Dutchman. You have to turn around and stop to fight these new enemies, which were really cool, by the way. That eel one that shocks you.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The
poison one was cool, but that giant crab, like that tanky just beast. Oof. And yeah, you are set up to win, and it does feel scripted, as aside from the enemies boarding and fighting, because you actually have to fight them. But still, it's the spectacle, and I feel like it's meant to get your heart pumping and get you excited to continue on these 5 tall tales, and finish it, and then do the next one.
Oh yeah.
Well, yeah, and I think you expect to win because that's just like it's a video game, like we have to win. But at the same time, you are thinking this is only the first tall tale,
right?
So what's going to go awry that this is going to take this away? And again, I think you think you're going to win because we're on the Ferry of the Damned. I mean, that's a beastly of a ship itself. But yeah, having all these creatures kind of come out and come after you. I mean, it was crazy. That big crab guy, he did one smash, and I'm like, guys, I'm down. I'm down.
Yeah, I think he killed us all, but luckily you just respawn and nothing resets. You just kind of respawn into the battle as it's going. I mean, it was honestly the first time. Excuse me. It was the first time since playing Sea of Thieves where I thought in like kind of video game terms, where because the whole idea is like we have to sneak onto the ferryman's ship, and we don't want him to see us. We got to go down and find out who's down in the cells or whatever. And so we got on, and I was like, well, how do we get down? Like, if he sees us, is it game over? Like, do we restart?
And then I was just like, no, let's just go.
Yeah, and then he's just like, stop, hold it, so it's all part of it. But like, that was the first time since playing the game where I thought of like how another game might do it,
Well, here because they brought in, you got to tuck to get on the Ferry of the Damned. It was kind of funny how they brought that in. Mm-hmm. The typical Sea of Thieves toxic fashion.
Yeah. It was I don't know, every part of it was just a blast from start to finish.
I felt like it was really, again, just approachable, something that anybody could do, a great start to this story. They really just wanted people to be able to sit back and appreciate it, which is why they made it its own instance. You're not doing this on the active Sea of Thieves in adventure mode, which I appreciate. And I mean, that was clearly a very conscious choice by Rare, and I think it was the right choice.
Well, yeah, can you imagine, like, and not to jump around in the tall tale, but can you imagine just trying to go through the cave and trying to find things, and you have other players kind of tucking, waiting for you? I mean, because you're doing a tall tale, and most tall tales, you don't have a lot of treasure. I mean, unless you find a sunken ship or something you want to stop at. So it would just be really annoying to have that kind of happen, and I do agree. I'm glad they did that, where you kind of take off and you're in your own little space to start this journey.
Well, that's the thing I was saying yesterday. I think I sent you both a message about it, and like of just me coming across it accidentally, just scrolling through Twitter, because I do follow other Twitter accounts besides people that talk about Sea of Thieves, but I just happen to see some people talking about Tall Tale 2. I have no idea what they're talking about. Like, no one went into specifics, but just sadly, it seems that Tall Tale number 2 is not instanced, and it always takes you to the same location, like the same end spot. So there's two things. One, of people waiting around and just spawn killing you just for the hell of it. And the second is you not being able to do it because someone else is doing it.
Oh, I didn't realize that if somebody else is doing it, you have to wait.
So, no, yeah, and that stinks. I mean, you have to have. I do enjoy, like, everyone. We can all. Well, that's another podcast, another episode to go in PvP versus PvE and all that. But I get where they're coming from, and they've actually already addressed it on their Twitter account to say that they're looking for a fix. With any bugs that they may have, small bugs there, but also how they can kind of change that so that it doesn't happen anymore either. So hopefully, depending on when you're listening to this, that might be updated and fixed by that time.
But it's okay. I mean, that could happen to you on any tall tale. Like,
Right.
It's unlikely that somebody's gonna spawn camp you on Shores of Gold, because that's wild. But like, it could happen to you at any tall tale, that you're doing this in adventure mode. You're doing this with active other players, and I don't know. I say this now like I'm all chill and cool, but like, but then you know me, and when I actually get faced with other people trying to take my shit, I get pissed.
Later tonight, we're going to be doing it, and someone's going to be fighting us, and you're going to be like, we're just trying to do a tall tale.
Yeah, exactly. That's, you know me well.
Well, and for me, it's always been that to me, that gives me an edge, that something else that is unexpected from even a tall tale can be right around the corner, and that we have to be prepared for it. So I guess for me, and I agree, it's like, dang it, like, I just want to complete this thing. But it gives me an edge, and it does enhance my experience, I think, a little bit, to know that someone can PvP me at any moment. Because if someone sees a ship, you don't know if they're doing a tall tale. So some people just want to go and check it out. That's how they get their treasure.
Oh, yeah, dude. That's
the nature of the game.
That's without like a PvPvE setting. I don't think this game would work. Two, I don't think it would be fun if it was just PvP. If it was the exact same game it was now with no PvP, I do not think it would be fun. I also get frustrated and discouraged at times, but I like that feeling of like anything can happen, anyone can show up. What's that ship on the horizon? What are they doing? And this leads us to this week's Tall Tale.
Bum bum bum.
Dun, dun, dun.
You like that segue? I'm not even riding it. Dad jokes.
You sure sailed into that one.
Oh. So,
let's hear it.
me and Case jumped on, slooping it.
Slooping it up.
No plans, we did not buy a voyage. We did not put down any voyage. We were just like, let's just sail around and see what happens, We saw a brig off in the distance. Fairly close to, just chilling at a small island. There for a while, so I assumed they were doing a voyage or something, right? Digging up some chests or fighting some skellies. So Case is like, let's throw up the alliance flag, head on over, see what's up, see if they want alliance. If not, then we'll just go off on our way,
We do not often just roll up and introduce ourselves to other players. We are not those players, but I think we're both trying to be those players a little bit more.
I do it mostly when I'm solo slooping.
Yeah.
Well, I think in the goodness of your hearts, as you try to do that, I mean, this podcast is Sea of Friends, so we're just trying to build that bridge out there.
We're just trying to be friends, man.
I mean, to the other side, if we saw, if we were on a brig and we saw a sloop or someone coming up, it's like, oh, get your irons ready, it's time.
For sure.
Well, that's what I was telling Tuck the other day when we were doing that first tall tale when we first loaded in, and that galleon was rolling up on us, and I was just like, fire on him. And he was like, we're firing? Okay. And he fired, and then they're like, hey, we're killed. We're cool. And we're like, all right, let's stop firing. Let's help. We patched up their ship, and we helped them out and stuff. And that's what I was telling him. I was like, look, I will roll up. He's like, or I think he said, like, why would anyone roll up on a ship like that? And I was telling him, like, I'll roll up on a ship and say what up and be friendly. But at the same time, if a ship rolls up on me, I'm firing at you.
Yeah.
I don't trust it.
We know our intentions, but there be pirates out there.
Yeah, man. I can't trust a pirate.
But go ahead.
We roll up on the ship. Well, we don't roll up on it. We get close, but I fire out of a cannon. and go over. And I'm just like, I'm just going to go over and see what they're doing. And I swim up to them. I have no weapons out. And they start shooting at me. And I realize in retrospect that I should have just like flashed my lantern to maybe hopefully get them to just like chill and talk to us. But they were not friendly and they killed me in the water.
It took them a minute.
It did. They weren't great. I mean, which neither am I, but it took a while.
Hey, but that sounded like that ignited the spark then.
Oh, yeah. So we turned around. She loaded back on the sloop. We turned around. They started running from us. So we started chasing, and we would get angles on them and fire a shot. We'd hit a shot or two, miss a shot or two. Not enough to do anything, you know. You're just putting a hole in them, and then they're patching it up while they turn away and you miss your shot, you know. One person tried to board us. He did a piss poor job, and I killed him. And this went on for a good, I don't know, 15 minutes maybe?
Just like back and forth. Like we'd hit a couple, they'd hit a couple, but nobody could ever really like get the other one under fire. And I think we realized pretty quickly that there weren't 3 people on that boat. There were only 2.
Were there only 2?
I think so.
Oh, I thought there were 3. But yeah, so it was one of the first moments I've experienced of being on a sloop where a larger crew was running from me.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking, like, just fight, man. And then I thought to myself, is this what it's like for other people when, like, we're on, like, a brig and we run from a sloop and they're like, what are you running for? There's more of you.
But that's interesting, too, because if they're running, to me, in my mind, it's like, oh, they got something good they're hiding. Like, maybe I should pursue this.
Oh, yeah, man. That was my thought, was like, okay, we're going to get... Oh, if we win this battle, this is our haul for the night, you know? We got this. Also, at the same time, I kept telling them to join the Alliance.
We were trying to be friendly. Sea of friends.
I fired off at one point. I missed my board, sadly. I rarely fire off and try to board, so I'm not that best at it. But we did, you know, I killed the boarder. We both killed people with cannons while firing at them.
I was pretty proud of that.
And then I did finally get on board, killed one as he was trying to patch and bail, and then they went down, and it was very... What's the word? What is this word?
Satisfying.
Satisfying. Thank you. I don't know the simplest words.
Hey, but I didn't know what word you were gonna say, and Bill like picked up on that quick, man.
Well, I could just feel it. I mean, we
Well, it was because look, we didn't get a ton of treasure. I think we got a couple things and some storage crates, maybe.
Yeah, they had a ton of supplies.
True.
Which, I mean, obviously they bought. They had like 50 bananas in a crate, but they had like a ton of supplies, which we took. They didn't have any. They had like a few like low-level skulls and like yeah, that's about it really. And that's when we realized, like, you know, they're probably new players.
Newer. They had sales that were free with the plunder pass. So, or no, I'm sorry, free with season 3. Free with Renown.
The season 2. They had the
Yes.
mermaid sales.
But it was satisfying to do it and do it on our own. Like, we don't often win naval battles, the 2 of us. So,
and we don't often win naval battles when I feel like we don't. Hold on. Sorry, that wasn't the cough. I can't talk. It's the meeting. It's today's 2:00 meeting all over again. I'm just stumbling over my words and looking like an idiot. I feel anyways that we don't win when we are on the offensive. I feel like we win mostly when we're on the defensive.
better under pressure, maybe.
Yeah, it felt good to win as the attacker, as the aggressor, you know?
Well, too, on that, like, when you're on the defensive, when we generally, I would say, is that we have something to lose. Like, we've been probably playing for an hour and a half, and we have a decent amount of loot that we just worked for. So I can understand that where it's more pressure that, you know, we can stick it to it because we have more to live for, so to say.
Yeah.
If they sink and we sink them, they go off, they can come back, but they really have nothing to lose unless they bought supplies and whatnot. But I mean, you can raid a post and get all that stuff back, or a good amount back. So I understand that it's a different feeling when you are the aggressor on it, because you conquered, you overcame, so to say, the odds of them trying to run away, coming around, and then doing something that we're not really used to. So
and
bravo.
Like, we don't start a game and just roll up on somebody. That's very unusual for us. So it was cool. It was fun.
I also feel it worked in our favor that we just didn't care.
Right.
Like at one point, Casey was like, "We're really low on supplies. Like we have like 15 cannonballs left," and I was just like, "I mean, they're running. So if we run out of cannonballs, we can just turn around and go get some more somewhere. You know, they're not gonna chase us down or hunt us down." So
you took away the fuel of being discouraged then.
Exactly. There we go. We're always going back to episode 1.
Well, it does root yourself in the game, as we talked about with PvP, PvE, whatever it might be. I mean, getting discouraged roots yourself in this game, and if you conquer that, not getting discouraged, the game will be a lot more enjoyable.
Oh yeah, totes. And with that, today's episode has come to port. You like that?
Man, you love a good pun, don't you, babe?
I do.
Nice.
Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to check us out on all your favorite podcast apps. Every Friday, a new episode. Video versions every weekend following that Friday. So like 1 or 2 days later, hopefully.
Also, check out Last Call for Lunch on Twitch.
Oh yeah, if you do want to see us experience the first tall tale, you can check out the VOD, twitch.tv/lastcallforlunch. Or if you just want to come and hang out and say what up while we're live, do that too, I guess. I don't know how to end stuff. That's my problem.
I think you did a great job. Just call it done, baby.
Thank you so much. I'm Last Call for Lunch.
I'm Miss Lunch Lady.
And I'm Darkest Warhawk.
And remember, it doesn't always have to be a sea of thieves.